Welcome, this is a PowerPoint of Genesis chapter 9. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every bird of the heavens, upon everything that creeps on the ground and all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. And as I gave you the green plants, I give you everything. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. There are a couple of differences here from what God's instructions were to Adam in chapter 1. The first one is that we see that animals now fear and dread humans. The second is that humans can now be omnivores. However, God declares that the blood of the animals is still sacred and cannot be consumed because God is the author of life. And for your lifeblood, I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image. Humans are made in the image of God. To murder a human is akin to attacking God. God holds people and animals responsible for killing his image bearers. Many use these verses for the establishment of the death penalty. And you, be fruitful and multiply, increase greatly on the earth and multiply in it. God's speech ends with the same words that he started with and is an echo of Genesis 1:28 and 8:17. God wants humanity to flourish and not to be destroyed by violence. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. It is for every beast of the earth. I establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. This is the first covenant mentioned in the Bible. God makes a covenant with all living creatures. A covenant binds both parties together in a relationship. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you, for all future generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, that it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. Different covenants have appropriate signs or symbols linked to them. Circumcision is the sign of the covenant with Abraham, and the Sabbath is the sign of the covenant with Israel. The rainbow is a visible sign of God's everlasting covenant. The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the people of the whole earth were dispersed. These two verses paved the way for the rest of chapter 9 as well as chapter 10. Canaan is developed further in this chapter, and the dispersing of people is developed more in chapter 10. Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk, and lay uncovered in his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked backwards, and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. We see throughout the Bible the lasting effects both positive and negative decisions have. The response of Shem and Japheth is in sharp contrast to Ham's actions, as the brothers honor their father despite his foolish behavior. When Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Noah's reaction to Ham's action is to curse Canaan, Ham's son. The curse falls on Canaan alone, and not on Ham's other children. In verse 25, when it mentions the curse as being a servant of servants, he shall be to his brothers, this has wrongfully been interpreted in past centuries to justify the enslavement of African people. This has resulted in grievous abuse, murder, injustice, and inhumanity to people created in the image of God.